interview Admiral Byrd gave on the television. Here is a small part of it.
Our guest tonight found out whether there was any land north of the North American continent. He made that first discovery flight, and I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans.
Greatest living explorer. This is on live television. So, listen up.
Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
There is...
Any questions? Greatest living explorer just told you that there's land as big as the United States. Let's just call it South America and North America, beyond the South Pole, wherever that is. Do you have any more questions? Do you think that's play? Are they teaching you that in school, or are they saying you're on the ball? Which one are they teaching? Which one are they promoting? Open your eyes. There's more land.
There is no physical end to the Earth's northern and southern extent.
Bang.
There is no space between areas of the universe.
Bang.
But there must deceptively appear to be space in all observations.
Bang.
That apparent space results from the illusory globularity and isolation of the celestial sky areas.
Come on.
The concept that the universe is made out of globular and isolated bodies originated from the curvature that is created by all lenses. The bodies are an illusion. The ancient conclusion of Galileo that luminous celestial areas are isolated from each other and are circling in space was founded on the inescapable errors of lens functioning. The circling movement is an illusion. In an endless land and sky universe, the undulating or billowing of luminous sky gas must deceptively appear as a circling or ellipsing movement. The deceptive appearance develops from the fact that such gaseous sky movement is detected by a circular lens. Under the mobile sky gas, which extend throughout the celestial realm, there is undetectable but very factual land, water, vegetation and life like on this earth or realm. Optical illusions result from the function of the human eye lens, and all photographic and telescopic lenses are patterned after the optic lens. Lens function demands lens convergence, which causes the deceptive curvature created.
It's amazing because, that's kind of the way everyone's always pictured the firmament, right? I stretch it out like a tent for you to live in. Isaiah 40. I stretched out the heaven, Shamayim, beat them out with my right hand and stretched them out like a tent for you to live in. And you see an eyeball. And look at these colors. These are very high frequency colors. So now you got your earth and your middle earth, right? The center, all that stuff. These look like portals. Maybe the south and north, or some type of portals like the space loop. All inside the eye, Does your creator ever take his eye off of you? That's the question.
Created by the lens into a disc-like proportion reflecting the roundness of all lenses. Every area of the Earth's continuous and unbroken outer sky surface would express the identical deceptions when observed and photographed from high altitude and from celestial land areas. In 1927, science was without knowledge that any terrestrial sky area would be luminous when observed from beyond the sky. The first observation and photograph was archived by Professor Auguste Piccard in 1931. I made a video about him recently. Piccard had not achieved sufficient altitude for a completely dark stratosphere background, which would probably express outer sky luminosity. That disk development, which was referred to as an upturned disk, was partial only because sufficient distance had not been archived from the gaseous sky area.
You have to research this. Alright? When we drop the drop, you get it and you research it. So that you understand if it's play, see if it resonates.
Photographs that were taken in 1946 with V2 rockets at an altitude of around 65 miles showed a deceptive disk-like and isolated sky area over White Sands, New Mexico and adjacent territory. These rocket camera photographs at greater altitudes hold most sensational confirmation of physical continuity.
Wait. Photographs that were taken in 1946 with V2 rockets at an altitude of around 65 miles. "65 miles" showed a deceptive disc-like and isolated sky area over White Sands, New Mexico, in the adjacent territory. So just that area over New Mexico looked like a star, looked like its own luminary globular thing, and it was just White Sands, New Mexico. But according to this high altitude, you know what I'm saying, it shows you that type of lens deception that happens when you're at that altitude. And so whatever we're seeing, we look the same to them. These rocket camera photographs at greater altitudes hold most sensational confirmation of physical continuity.
Physical continuity. The stars and planets are connected luminous celestial sky areas with underlying land.
All that land.
The Earth cannot be circumnavigated north and south. A few around the world flights have contributed to popular misconception that the Earth has been circumnavigated north and south. All progressive movement beyond the pole points leads beyond the assumed end of the globe Earth, and that land beyond constitutes a land connection with the celestial. The connecting land appearing up or out from terrestrial points other than the poles is attainable by movement straight ahead from the imaginary pole points. This is not 1927. The existence of worlds beyond the poles have been confirmed by US naval exploration during the 30 years since then. According to this book, this is an illustration of the universe. Understand that this is not a shape of the real universe, but it illustrates how we see the universe. The way our eyes work creates this illusion. Here is another illustration. We live on the bottom, on the terrestrial land surface, and above us is a layer of air and oxygen. Above that we have curved parts that represent the sky areas, which are luminous when viewed from above. Above that we have the stratosphere, and above that we have the celestial level that is the same as the terrestrial. As above, so below. Since up is always relative, our celestial cousins look up or out through their inner blue sky as we do through ours, and behold the same nightly star pattern that we witness. Contrary to popular misconception based on the illusory shooting up or out from any location of the terrestrial or celestial would take the explorer away from the universe structure and project him into infinite space. Place your thumb on the illustration's stratosphere section, then draw it towards you. That will describe where the space explorer would go. If he did not land back on some land area of the terrestrial, he would be completely lost in space wherein the universe was constructed. Or he would be projected up on some terrestrial area, remote from the point of flight origin. Any spaceship launched, and there is no doubt that it could be launched, would either be lost in space infinite or be returned to some area of the Earth. The universe is so ordered that power increase to overcome the arc of flight would precipitate the spaceship away from the universe. On the other hand, insufficient power would restrict the spaceship to the movement of all projectiles, and it would have to conform to the arc of flight, which would return it to some land area of the terrestrial. Up is always relative to the position we hold anywhere in the universe structure. When we stand on the land up there, this terrestrial land we have left behind will have to appear to be up to our observation from a celestial area. Sitting in the nose of a rocket that is at an altitude of 500 miles from Earth's surface, we'll have lost sight of where it entered the dark stratosphere. Then, wherever we look, we will observe the luminous points astronomically designated. As we look at the sky area covering the land surface we departed from, there will be seen the same luminous points that envelop us from every angle of observation. Then, as altitude is increased, the lights of the celestial will bear no areas. And as the universal skylight will not be arranged in a greater relation of up, the lights of the terrestrial sky direct course over and under our rocket, but will appear at every angle. Up is in fact everywhere. The so-called heavens above are everywhere.
Heya is everywhere. You see how that works? I mean, why mention the heavens above if we're not going to mention the creator of the heavens above? It's a touchy subject, but it's real. It's absolutely real. Understanding the system you're in was an intelligent design, is an intelligent design, a playground, but for who? It's more fun to talk about the abstract than to talk about the concrete. The blood in your veins, your energy, your signature. But what we do is surf this wave together and see the beauty of the beach. We're all going to see the beauty of the beach, man. We just keep surfing the wave. You know, we're going to hit that dry land, and we're all going to step out, and we're going to see our kingdom again. We're going to see our trees again. So keep surfing, and know that even when, you know, it seems like you go around and around and your head is spinning, you can't compute. It's not about computing, you know, and comprehending sometimes with your mind. Sometimes it's just a spiritual awakening. Sometimes it just affects you on a different subconscious level, you know. So let it be that when it's that, and then it's going to come back around, you know what I mean?